I just thought, I just felt like, when it comes to like these movies, like Dumb and Dumber 2 was probably one of the worst. Like, I love Dumb and Dumber so much. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. And when they finally got Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels back for the sequel, it was like cool to see them back and interacting with each other. But the movie was awful. It was fucking awful. So here we go. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. I guess I'll say, I guess I'll say the right title. I'm just doing that because it's refreshing. It's so freaking hot right now. Anyways, all right. So Beetlejuice. Yes, I enjoyed it. It's a very enjoyable movie. It's a very enjoyable sequel. It was cool to have Tim Burton, Michael Keaton, Catherine O'Hara, Winona Ryder come back for the sequel. How many years later? Oh my God, it's been so long. And that's the thing. I think that's one of the things that does hurt this movie. Just like when it does, and I talked about this on my first reaction, it does hurt a movie that it's been so long. It's been so long since the first movie. So now you got to do all this backstory. And it's like, where's everybody been? What have we all been doing here? What's going on? And what's going on with Lydia? And then she has a daughter, and Lydia Dietz. I mean, she just, she does one of those shows, and she talks about seeing ghosts and everything like that. But at the same time, I'm going, I don't know if does this work now? Does this work now? Does it work that, she's hosting a TV show talking about the paranormal and all this stuff, but it's how many decades later? I mean, it's like something like this probably would have worked better in the early 2000s, at least this story point. I don't know. There's just certain things where you just kind of go, how do you do a sequel to this? I mean, I know there was like Beetlejuice Goes to Hawaii was like always a script that's been floating around Hollywood for so long, and there's been so many scripts. So now we have this, and we're catching up with the Dietz and everything. And okay, fine. It's not going to be easy to just be like, oh yeah, this is what they're doing now. And Lydia looks exactly the same. She has the same haircut, same everything. It's all like the same. And you're going, really? You're gonna dressing the same this many years later? You're still dressing like how you were as a teenager? I'm like, all right. I mean, they could have done something different, but they literally just did like the same hair and everything. And I just kind of went, all right. I mean, I guess you have to do that. But so when it comes to the overall story, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's good. But at the same time, there's too much going on in this story. Too much. The whole thing with Beetlejuice's wife. And again, I said this in my first reaction. I'm like, hey, I'm all about Monica Bellucci. She's hot. She's still hot. She's still gorgeous. Monica Bellucci is aging like a fine wine and everything. Great. But that whole story, I felt didn't need to be in this movie. I felt like it didn't need to be. It was like too much. It was like tacked on to be just another thing. I don't know. I don't know. It just didn't really. There was not enough meat on that bone. And they do this whole thing where Beetlejuice, and it's been released. There's a clip of it online that you can watch. They released it for some reason that Beetlejuice talks about his backstory and meeting her. And I was like, this is too. It was a little too much. I think one of the things that made the first one work so well is Beetlejuice was a mystery. I mean, he was a crazy character, but he was a bit of a mystery. So, of course, they're trying to add a little bit more to him, and I thought they added just a little too much. Michael Keaton is awesome in this. Awesome. He's not missed a step. He's still doing a good job with the character, and there's some random things that he does. One in particular, my pretty much my laugh out loud moment was there's something that he does, and you could actually find the GIF online. It's already like there, like where he does something, and it's just funny. It's him and Lydia. He does something, just some like kind of quick little mannerism thing, and then something happens. I won't say exactly what it is, but I thought it was like, all right, that's hilarious, because it's one of the things that I love about Beetlejuice and Michael Keaton. It's just his random shit that he does and the mannerisms and everything, and that's all there. I just felt like, the way that they introduce him in this movie, I thought was kind of lame. I was going, really? That's how you're going to introduce him in this? All right, that's fine. But they do explore the afterlife world a little bit more, and I thought, cool. It's cool. Some people might think it's a little cheesy and over the top, which it is. But I thought, yeah, you know what? I like the exploration of, the afterlife world. I mean, I watched the cartoon like crazy. Of course, that took like a different route when it came to the characters, but so I don't know. There's that, but for the most part, like I enjoyed it. There's some cool moments. There's a twist that happens in the movie that I saw coming a mile away. It was very easy to spot the twist that happens in the movie, which it's fine. I mean, my dad was sitting next to me, and I was like, I immediately was like, oh, and I said it, and then it was like, oh yeah, that's what happens, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And there's this other character too, played by Justin Trudeau, whatever his name is, and he was funny, but a little bit like tacked on and over the top. I was like going, does he need to be there too? I don't know. But I love the fact that Tim Burton was trying to do as much as try not to use computer generated images and trying to do like the stop motion animation again and trying to do a lot of things practical. That really is cool. And I loved that. And it's shot very well and it's good. Yeah, the score was great. When you hit the opening, you get the normal little thing. Jenna Ortega was fine. She was good. She was good in the movie. And I think overall it's just like it's an enjoyable movie. I was hoping it was going to be better. I'm not like saying I was disappointed because I was like, yeah, I didn't think it was going to be something spectacular. I mean, the first one's such a classic, but I just thought, it just felt like, when it comes to like these movies, like Dumb and Dumber 2 was probably one of the worst. Like I love Dumb and Dumber so much. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. And when they finally got Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels back for the sequel, it was like cool to see them back and interacting with each other. But the movie was awful. It was fucking awful. Zoolander, love Zoolander. Sequel was awful. Anchorman 2 was one of those where I was like, all right, the sequel actually did pretty well. Like it was a decade later and it was, it worked. For me, I was like, this was still very funny and everything kind of worked. I mean, it wasn't as good as the first, but yeah, when it comes to Beetlejuice, yeah, it's just it was just kind of like, yeah, there's something kind of, I don't know. There's something where it's just going, it just doesn't have that magic. It really doesn't for me, but it's still very enjoyable. And I do want to watch it again because now that I know what I'm in store for, maybe I just missed a little something. I don't know. Anyway, so there you go. There we go. There's my full-on drinking review of Beetlejuice, a Beetlejuice.